spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council and senior advocate of Nigeria, Professor Keyamo, has petitioned the DSS asking the security outfit to arrest Mr. Peter Obi, a candidate of the Labour Party in the just concluded presidential election, and his running mate, Mr. Datti Baba Ahmed. The senior...
My people, now good evening. Depending on the time when they watch this video, I beg, I don't want to talk too much. Just watch to the end. You understand? You know, say today they say DSS spokesman of tinubu, make una hear the update concerning the issue. Make una hear the update. This one happened live. This was live. In case you miss her, now for Chinese TV, you understand? Make a leave and make una watch and I beg. What I want make una do for me, just help me react to the video. Then she realize I beg. We know they fight. I be your sister, one love. I they show. News is meant to be spread round road. You understand? And not be our family matter. We be say what they had routine or so now news. You need to be exposed station. So they bring her for una. But follow me. Welcome to Big Things God TV. All right, I will see you now for the next one.
Everyone for staying with us. Yes, this program has gotten a lot of reaction, and the spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council and senior advocate of Nigeria, Professor Keyamo, has petitioned the DSS asking the security outfit to arrest Mr. Peter Obi, a candidate of the Labour Party in the just concluded presidential election, and his running mate, Mr. Datti Baba Ahmed. The senior lawyer has also asked the DSS to arrest and prosecute Obi and his running mate over alleged incitement and treasonable felony in a petition addressed to the DG of the DSS, which was dated 23rd March. The minister opined that in a post-election period such as this, there is a need to soothe frayed nerves, lower the temperature, and begin the healing process. I'm being joined by Mr. Professor Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Minister of State for Labour. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. And then first of all, Ramadan Kareem.
To our Muslim brothers.
Our Muslim brothers and
Absolutely,
sisters.
yeah.
They started the Ramadan.
So let me begin by asking you, what prompted your, and if you can be specific, there must be something that annoyed or angered you, because you said you are doing this in your own personal capacity. You have written to the DSS, although the DSS has not granted your prayers. But what was it that moved you to that point?
Well, let me start by saying that in this post-election period, campaigns are over. So normally we are torn between the extremes of, going full conciliatory in our tone, or, being as firm as possible, in asserting our mandate and our rights, to govern this country as given to us by majority of the voters. Now, we have been instructed by the president-elect, and you saw it even in his open letter, that, look, we should begin the healing process. So this combative tone of now we adopted during campaigns, we ought to jettison all of that now and then begin to, stretch our hands out to the opposition. Remember, the moment the results were announced, I was the first, as the spokesperson of the campaign council, to say, look, don't taunt them. They are patriots, they are our brothers, they mean well for this country. It's just that, perhaps the templates they sold to Nigerians were less attractive than, was less attractive than ours, and more Nigerians accepted us. But they are patriots. And that's the kind of language we want to see now. But then it appears too, and this is the point I want to make, that when you now have a mandate to defend, you have a right donated to you by Nigerians, and you become too condescending. You genuflect too much, and you beg too much. It also conveys the feeling or the, impression that you have stolen something and you are begging to be accepted. So that is also the danger of, the other extreme of becoming too conciliatory and all of that. So there must be a point at which you draw the line to say, look, I have appealed to you enough. For the sake of our country, let us come together. And I think that is the line that Peter Obi and Datti Ahmed, they have crossed. There is a constitutional process to address grievances. A process has taken place. An election has happened in accordance with the law. results have been declared by the body constitutionally imbued with the right to declare that result, which is INEC, not any other body, INEC. INEC has declared a president-elect. The Constitution also envisages that certain persons will be dissatisfied with that declaration. So we are not in a position or situation of constitutional crisis like Datti Ahmed tried to paint. This situation was or has been envisaged by the Constitution that certain persons will be dissatisfied. And if you are dissatisfied, there are laid down procedures to address those grievances so that democracy will function, those institutions will function, and democracy will function and will survive. Now, what is going on is that Datti Ahmed comes here, and it has been a series of interviews by himself and Peter Obi. Yesterday was the final nail on the coffin. It was the final straw that broke the camel's back. That somebody who wanted to become vice president of this country, of that level, would come here, sit before the world, and tell the world that he does not recognize a president-elect that has been declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and that the president-elect must not be sworn in, and that he does not even recognize, the process that they have, started, in court. He does not trust that process, I mean. And that's the person who wanted to become vice president of this country. How? And then he arrogates to himself the right or the power to interpret the Constitution, interpret, Section 134 of the Constitution to suit his own whims and caprices, and then declares that what the INEC did was totally unconstitutional, and that what will come in on May 29 will be an unconstitutional government. It is the delusion of grandeur. It's complete delusion of grandeur.
Shall apply to the federal capital, Abuja, as it were one of the states of the federation.
That's all.
And accordingly,
That's
if
all.
it were.
That's
so
all.
it means that,
That's all.
Does it mean that the Constitution sees
FCT
as the 37th state?
Exactly. All you just need to do when you read these two is that Section 134, for the purpose of this, for the purpose of that section, it is an inclusive provision. A provision that tries to include Abuja amongst one of the states. In fact, to understand 134 better, just remove the sentence and the FCT Abuja. People would have been asking, if you cut 25% in, 2/3 of the states of the federation and you keep quiet, people would have been asking, 2/3 of the states and Abuja, say, what about Abuja? What about Abuja? So what that last phrase means is just to confirm to people that you calculate Abuja along with it too. That's what it means. Simple. So, in practical terms, let me bring it down and break it down for Nigerians to understand. In practical terms, it means that if I need to get 25% in 24 states, and I now get 25%, I get the 25% in 23 states. And the FCT, what it simply means is that FCT will be calculated as a state so that you have met the requirement. Am I clear? That's in practical terms. That is what it means. I'm trying to calculate, bring it in practical terms for people to understand. That if Asiwaju or Atiku had gotten 23 states, 25%, and they say, oh, you cannot be president. Or they say, no, but he got 25% in FCT too. Oh, yes, it's included. It should be treated as a state too. So what it means is not to elevate Abuja and to treat it separately as an elevated to a status higher than the state. In fact, their interpretation that they are bringing to Section 134 is an interpretation that even negates the spirit and letters of that particular section that even tries to include Abuja among the states to be calculated. Now, the corollary to this is Washington, D.C. Go and look at the constitutional development of America. Washington, D.C., is not one of the federated states of America. It's a federal capital territory.
Of course.
And so before...
And fighting for statehood.
Exactly. Before 1961, the voters in America were not allowed to choose electors, which is the Electoral College that determines America's president now. But in 1961, I think it was by the 23rd Amendment of 1961, that they now brought, DC in, and they said they can now choose, I think, 3 electors or so to now take part in the Electoral College. So that is the meaning that they were agitating to be treated as one of the other states. So our constitution, therefore, without waiting for that agitation, they adopted, what Section 134 did, was to adopt the 23rd Amendment of the American Constitution. That's the meaning. We are going to go into it, history when we argue our case in court. It draws its strength from the 23rd Amendment of the American Constitution that says, treat DC as a state for the purpose of electors. That is what it draws it from.
So Datti yesterday has said it might be dangerous for your candidate and the president-elect to be sworn in if there is no clarification and settlement on this provision of the Section 134. What other pathway do we have to douse this tension?
There is no tension. The tension is in Baba Datti mind. Tension where? He wants to come to Eagle Square or do what? What is he saying? What is Datti saying? That what? That INEC should have gone what? Should have stopped announcement to go to court first?
If the lines if the lines of Mr. had raised this issue, your candidate...
It's like Bakoba Supreme Court.
Your candidate did not...
You keep quoting my very respected fellow. Hold on.
But he has raised it before.
Respected fellow. But is this Supreme Court? Did you hear views of other senior advocates too? He's my very good senior brother. But you keep going back to Oliver. What is Oliver?
He's one of those who have raised it.
But the other issue, the other lawyers who have said is nothing. What's them too now? Am I not a senior advocate? So what's the meaning of this?
But the question is that, as it is, your candidate...
So the INEC should have waited, should have stopped announcement to go to court?
Calm down, Mr. Keyamo. Your candidate did not make 25% in FCT.
Just like
the PDP candidate.
No. Just like Labour Party don't make 25%. In more than 17 states too. In fact, he didn't make 25% in 15 states. And now he wants to now rub shoulders with us that didn't make 25% in what? In FCT and 6 other states. We got 30, we got 30 states, you know that? The two of them, Obi and Atiku, did not even make the 24, and they are claiming they want to be president. Obi was the worst. He got 17, 25% for 17. And even look at the national spread of the votes. So even say who qualified to be president. Listen, by the manner of their campaigns, Obi made 9 states in the south and made 3 in the north central. He didn't even go to the core north. Atiku Abubakar got 9 states in the north and made 3 in the south. It was only Asiwaju that got 6 in the north and 6 in the south. That is the balance that Asiwaju brought to this, to this campaign. Again, it was only Asiwaju that got at least 1 state in each of the, in all the, in five geopolitical zones. It was only in the southeast Asiwaju did not get 1 state, but Asiwaju won at least 1 state in all the 5 geopolitical zones.
Right.
Again, Asiwaju came first in 3 regions and came second in 3 other regions. He never came third anywhere. Obi came first in only 2 regions. Atiku came first in only 1 region. So who had the spread? Who had the acceptability of Nigeria?
Although
those are the people that are waiting for them.
Your candidate perhaps from analysts say, look, that is the that's the lowest margin or percentage of vote any elected president has had since 1999.
Democracy at that point, it says that you don't have to have the highest vote in history. You also have the highest vote in that election. That is democracy.
Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Minister of State for Labor and a spokesperson of the APC PCC. Thank you so much indeed for your time to respond to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much indeed. But that's our show for tonight, everyone.